ready to play now. Put me in the game now. I came here to prove it, I'm ready to do it, I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now, I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. This time, like the last time, you better get ready to race to the top. Ready to do this, show you what the truth is. I step on the field, it's time to get real, I'm feeling so ruthless. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Yeah. So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. Get in the game, your moment of fame, show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up, it's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time, nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride. I'm ready to throw down, it's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise, don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top, we're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top, we're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
Hello, race fans, and welcome to Mount Panorama. We're here at one of the most famous motor racing venues anywhere in the world, Bathurst, and we're about to see one of motor racing's most bitter rivalries play out in the virtual world. Ford versus Holden. Which side do you stand on? My name is Peter Mckee, and joining me in the commentary box today is Scott Newton. Scott, how are you today?
Yeah, very well, Pete, and welcome everyone, and thanks for tuning in to this special event hosted by Trak iRacing League, and certainly looking forward to what us Australians refer to as one of the biggest battles of all time between the two manufacturers, as you say, Ford and Holden, and certainly looking forward to this cracking event.
It certainly is, I have to say. For me, Bathurst weekend is like Christmas. In fact, it's much, much better than Christmas. This incredible circuit, these incredible cars, is such a wonderful combination. The drivers are out at the moment, just in the middle of a short practice session, and then we will be straight on to the race here at Mount Panorama.
Yeah, certainly. There was a pre-qualifying event prior to this server, so we've got, I think, 40 competitors out here today, so each one of them certainly vying for that elusive win here today, and certainly going to be tricky out there with 40 cars there. That's, I would say, typical of a normal supercars field, so certainly going to be full of action out there today.
It certainly will indeed. Of course, 40 cars around here is going to be incredibly busy. Of course, there are around the circuits. It's kind of a tale of two halves, isn't it, Scott? Because you've got two huge long straights. You've got the mountain straight going up the hill, and you've got Conrod going down the hill. And those are, to me, what kind of create those two main overtaking opportunities. Is there any other places on the circuit we should look out for?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Going up into Griffin's Bend, with the overtaking spot there, as you say, with a long mountain straight, you got to get that exit out of turn 1 Hell Corner to be able to get the run over the mountain straight, and then also you got to be careful through like the middle part of the lap as well. You've got to be certainly looking for people with high downforce setups to be able to be stable across the top, but also ultimately you want to have to be very slippery through the straights, as I say, to minimise the chance of people behind you overtaking.
Indeed, and of course, going down Conrod, there's no greater danger than that. But heading into the chase, well, one of the most extraordinary corner entries, going around that brutally fast right-hander, then you've got to stand on the brakes and get it slowed down for the left-right chicane. Is such a challenge all the way around this Bathurst circuit. So the drivers are just in the middle of their practice session. At the moment, fastest is Jack Widdus with a 2:04.45. So straight out the gates, no hanging around for Jack in his Holden. But Travis Daly just popping in 2:06.24. So Jack Widdus, he's on it straight out the gate, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. With that 1.8 second gap, we're just ending the warm-up session now, so it's certainly not representative of our full pace, but certainly once we're able to get through the grid, we'll be able to take you through that in just a second.
Okay, so let's see how they line up then for this special event here at Bathurst, thanks to our sponsors, Trak Racer. On pole position is Brady Myers alongside Jack Widdus. Row 2 is James Mckee and Kobe Williams, followed by Chris Thomas and Tyler Blackburn. Trevor Hearn and Lockie Brown are on row 4, followed by Tom Huggan and Ryan Shooter. Row 6 is Brodie Watts and Daniel Hall. Row 7 is Wayne Hewitt and Nick Sanfilippo, followed by Troy Timmins, Jack Delsini, Stephen Griffiths and Brodie McCrenner. Travis Daly and Paul Bryan start on the 10th row, followed by Michael Rowe, Ed Hayden, Ryan Mulder and Cameron Thornton. Next up is Chad Lewis, Stead Miller, Mike Casey, Andrew Hills, Connor Jones, Dennis Hawkins, Jason Fielding, Marco Pavic, Scott Harris, Shane Clark, Hayden Moon, and Ryan Hinchcliffe. And finally, Miguel Crespo, Nigel Laminin, Chris Twigg, and Mick Rush. And our drivers, the revs rise, the lights come up, and we are green here at Mount Panorama. And Brady Myers leads the field off, heading down into turn 1 and gets the position and looks to be relatively well behaved, Scott, into turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely. We see the 18 car of Chris Thomas lipping it at turn 1. To see another car in the background off the circuit. So a few drivers with a couple of issues there, but most of them got through turn 1 unscathed. And Brady Myers still holding on to the lead of the race. So we've got a couple around. There's a 67 car of Stephen Griffiths around there. Unfortunate for him, but everyone going through too wide and making it pretty much unscathed.
Okay, so we've got a 3-car breakaway already. Myers, Widdis, Williams, over the mountain they go for the first time. And Scott, you've got a lot of experience around this circuit. What are these cars like on cold tyres coming over the mountain? Yeah, they're very, very sketchy, as the tyres want to come up to pressure and temperature, as the track temperature at the moment, if I can grab that on screen, is 22 degrees at 7:52 in the morning. So there'll be a lot of the grip out there for the drivers, but I'd say that'll only come once the tyres come up to temperature and pressure. So, but yeah, Brady Myers opening up to 6.5 of a second lead at the moment over Jack Widdis, doing a stellar job at the moment. Brady, another competitor in another series that we cover, AOSC Super Series, showing how much of a leg up he has over the competition at the moment. Yeah, Brady's an extraordinary talent, particularly in this car. And we had, of course, thinking back to when we had the Apex Racing League special event here at Bathurst, Brady actually started from the pit lane for a bit of a challenge along with a few others and still won the race. It was extraordinary to watch, but he leads a Holden 1-2 right now. And are my eyes deceiving me, Scott? Is that a 2:04.9 from a standing start? Yeah, that's cracking pace from Brady at the moment. We'll see that we get into potentially the 203s, maybe even the high 202s once the fuel burns down. So it just goes to show you what outright pace Brady has. So we've got Lockie Brown on screen at the moment, just in battle for 4th position. At the moment, there's a little train here, led by the 947 of Tyler Blackburn. Going up through the cutting now. Oh, look at that. You see there how he's just fighting the oversteer there, coming out of the cutting. And it's just a constant battle in these cars. You look at the movement on the steering wheel. It's so physical. Lockie Brown doing a good job here, right in the heat of the pack. He's got Watts up ahead of him in another Ford Mustang. Oh, just trying to get the car to turn in there and then down and basically dropping off the edge of a cliff here. Oh my goodness me, that's so exciting. Down to the dipper we go then, and these big V8 brutes, they weigh about the same as a NASCAR Cup car to give you an impression. So they are heavy, but lots of power, but very, very physical. Down we go into Forest Elbow and onto Conrod. Yeah, absolutely. Weighed about 1,650 kilos. With 650 horsepower, so a lot of power, but also a lot of weight to sort of keep the top speed. But also with a lock diff as well, you've got to be very, very gentle on that throttle to be able to avoid the wheel spin. But heading up to the chase now, up to 290 kilometres an hour. See the 7 car just behind of Daniel Hall, going on the attack, but not close enough to get up to Trevor Hearn. Wow, look at that pace from Brady Myers, a 2:03.4 on his first flying lap. Widdis a 2:03.9 and Williams a 2:05.4. So there's quite a gap emerging at the top of who's got that ultimate pace. And Scott, with just a 30-minute race, this is going to be very much a sprint. No worries about fuel consumption, tyre consumption, anything like that. It's just a straight sprint to the flag. Yeah, the average fuel stint with the full tank is about 23-24 laps, so absolutely no concern for fuel
saving in that regard. So see about 15 lap race, I would think, in this event. So we've got Wayne Hewitt putting all sorts of pressure on Tom Hagen at the moment. But with average fuel burn, it's about 4.6, 4.7 litres per lap. So I would think that it would be about 75 or 80 litres that they would have to take for the race.
It's extraordinary. I mean, the amount of fuel that you say they're burning off. Oh, we've got somebody slowed down there up on the mountain. Lockie Brown's taken a lot of damage on the right-hand side of the car, on the right-hand side of his Ford Mustang. He's obviously been in the wall at some point, and it's always a danger here at Bathurst. You can so easily contact with the walls. They're, as you can see, they're right beside you. And Lockie Brown, how do you think that'll be affecting his handling much, Scott?
With the damage up towards the front right quarter panel there, it's yeah, certainly hindering him at the moment. We've got the 31 of Trevor Hearn going straight past. Is that the 13 car? That's a lap down car of Marko Pavic, just jumping out of the way. And they're going to go too wide. He's got the 24 off of Lockie Brown. He saves it miraculously, holds on to the position. Oh, as I say that, he goes around putting too much power down into the ground, and he'll certainly be kicking himself for that. He'll lose at least 5 or 6 positions from that.
What a shame for Lockie Brown. He, as you say, Scott, he'd done the hard work. He had saved a monumental moment coming out of the fast right-hander into the chase, and then yeah, just spun it up on the exit. Unfortunate for Lockie Brown. We're looking at James Mckee in the 489 Ford Mustang, followed by another Mustang, 37 of Watts. And having a look up into Quarry Bend. That's a tricky one to pull off there, of course. I always find those walls at Quarry Bend, Scott, I think they've got magnets in them, because I find myself in those walls so often. Yeah, absolutely. Just the nature of the corner. You want to be able to push as much as you can. Oh, it's one of the other cars around in the background. But yeah, just the nature of turn 2, with the fact that you're trying to go uphill, trying to put the power down, and it sort of kicks the rear end of the car out. And that outside wall is certainly inviting, to say the least. I've certainly come into contact with that wall numerous times in both V8s and open wheelers. But yeah, in saying that though, yeah, drivers getting very, very close to that outside wall to maximise the time that they can. Interesting, we've had a change for the lead. Brady Myers is back to 3rd place. And let's see what's happened to Brady. So coming down towards the chase in the 22 machine, leans on the brakes, and oh, there's a car going slow in front of him. Oh my word. And he does very, very well to avoid contact and misses the wall narrowly, but he's lost 2 places, and oh my word, he gets taken out by the lap car that he's worked so hard to avoid. You can see this Mustang going so slow in front. Oh my word. I don't know how he kept it out the wall there. Yeah, to be fair, I think that Brady may have misjudged that a little bit. Having said that though, yeah, he did get taken out at the second point there. It's certainly unfortunate for him, but still finds himself back in 2nd place. Gee, well, but Brady's mate, he's got past Kobe Williams in the 994 car. So this is interesting. He got 4.8 seconds up to Widdis, and he's got pretty significant damage after that contact with that lone Ford. So, this has changed the complexion of the race quite quickly. Yeah, certainly. But we know that from previous experience that Brady will be able to close that up pretty quickly. He contacts that wall at Solomon Park pretty heavily. That'll certainly do no favours for his steering rack. Car looks pretty unhappy. It looks a little bit more loose in its body language to me. Scott, what do you think? Yeah, absolutely. Just getting held up by the traffic there as well. That would certainly not help him. But yeah, as you say, Brady's trying to
get every little last bit of grip out of that car, and he's certainly putting it on the ragged edge there.
Oof, he certainly is. So, but Brady Myers, I wonder if he's maybe got a bit of a straight line speed advantage. But looking at Brodie McCrenner in running the number 46. Speaking of 46, we wish Valentino Rossi, 9-time world champion motorcyclist, unfortunately been diagnosed with COVID-19 and missing the Grand Prix this weekend. So all the best to 46, the doctor. But Brodie McCrenner running that number today at Bathurst. Down Conrod Straight we go. This is so fast around here. Got to watch that curve. Now, interesting is after Bathurst last year, Scott, Garth Tander was saying that the cars have got so much aerodynamic grip now compared to what they used to. He says that he's almost using the same. Oh, as Brodie McCrenner has to go round the outside. He's on the grass. This is going to be very sketchy. It is. He's in the wall. He's in the wall. Oh, God, it goes down the escape road. That was lucky. But yeah, Garth Tander was saying that coming into the chase, he's now using the same braking point as he is in a GT3 car. So much is the performance of these cars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we got a bit of contact between Paul Bryan and I think it was that Michael Rowe. There's got to be careful. No, that's a bit of an unsafe rejoin there from the driver, Paul Bryan there. So yeah, getting back to the point of the aerodynamics, I think it's just been through the user of revision with the aerodynamics on the VET supercars that they're able to almost hit the same braking points as the GT cars now. So yeah, it's just a credit to the main supercars body that they're able to tweak that aerodynamics to be able to get similar feel to the GT cars.
Yeah, it's an incredibly impressive level of performance when you consider how much more weight they've got to pull up. So looking at Troy Timmins in the 022 Holden Commodore right now. Of course, Holden, a brand which we've only got one more season with the factory in the V8 Supercar Championship, and it'd be really sad to see the brand go.
Yeah, absolutely. With the sad demise of Holden in Australia, the parent company GM have decided to discontinue the Holden name. But yeah, it's good to see that Chevrolet have taken up the vacant slot that Holden have opened up. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Fords versus the Chevys go next year. I'm actually quite interested to see how that'll fare.
Indeed, I think it's going to be fascinating because, of course, we see that in NASCAR. Of course, is a big battle there too. Of course, with the addition of Toyota, and of course, with guys like Roger Penske and Michael Andretti involved in the sport, it's to me, supercars gets more international in its appeal every year. But the thing I love about it, Scott, is that it's still dominated by the local drivers. It just shows how much of a special skill it is to wheel these cars around at the fastest pace.
Yeah, certainly. With I suppose it's just due to the limited number of teams that we have in supercars that kind of doesn't really open up the vacancies for other drivers. But then again, it's also about the talent as well. That just goes to show you how good these drivers are both in real life and also can translate into the sim as well.
I think you're absolutely right. I think it definitely does in the sim equally. So I was whenever I do a V8 supercar race here in the sim, and you see the Australian or the New Zealand flag, you think, oh well, not winning today, because it's such a specific skill to get these cars to go quick. So update on the battle at the top. Interestingly, Jack Widdus, he is actually stretching the gap from his fellow Holden driver Brady Myers. Looking at Brady's pace, yeah, Brady's not necessarily on his ultimate pace. His best lap so far in the race is a 203.42. Jack Widdis a 203.9, but both drivers lapping in the 205s at the moment. So as the race progresses, Scott, with the fuel burning off, I guess the lap times they should get quicker.
Yeah, they should, but in saying that though, 80 litres of fuel is probably only equivalent to about 60 kilos of fuel, so there certainly is a time advantage to gain with burning off 60 kilos of fuel. But having said that though, we've just crossed half race distance with 15 minutes elapsed, so certainly not a lot of time for Myers to make up if he's going to put the challenge to Widdis.
Yeah, as you can see, our lap comparison there on the bottom of the screen. It's there's if Brady Myers is just on the last lap around started to actually gain some time rather than lose it, but Jack Widdis looks on it. But his car is not perfect either. There's a couple of scrapes and scratches down the side of that Holden Commodore, but not anywhere near as bad as what Brady Myers has. So for Jack Widdis, he's just got to keep it in the groove. But even if it's crazy to think, Scott, that we're talking about a 205 is off the pace for them. That's a scary proposition.
Yeah, certainly. But with the track warming up as well, it does vary the time that you can get out of the car a little bit. So yeah, with the track warming up, I think that the times will slowly decrease. But with only 15 minutes, it wouldn't make that much of a difference. So we're just about to come up to start lap number 9 now. The gap is out to 5.9 seconds at the moment.
Yeah, the laps are clicking off quick, and we mentioned it before the broadcast. 40 cars around. Although it's a 2-minute lap here at Bathurst, it is tight in a lot of places, and it's proving to be the case that with these 40 cars out on track, there's a lot of the leading drivers now having to negotiate lap traffic as, oh my goodness me, Brodie Watts gets very, very loose on the exit there of the final corner, Murray's, and then around Hell Corner he goes, back on the power, up the mountain straight, where out-and-out horsepower is so important.
Yeah, certainly we'll see what sort of top speed he's getting at coming up the top of the mountain straight. He's getting up to 260 odd k's an hour. He's going up the inside, and he's not going to get it quite right. James Mckee having to go defensive around the outside, and yes, it's a good decision from Brodie to give back the position. Would have been a huge accident if they had contacted.
Yeah, that was very, very close indeed. But yeah, good presence of mind from both drivers there to avoid any problem. They carry on then, this inter-Ford battle. Of course, I understand, Scott, that although obviously the cars have different bodywork design, in the sim at least, the cars, the Ford Mustang and the Holden Commodore are dynamically and technically underneath are identical. Is that correct?
Yeah, as you say, graphically it's modelled differently, but yeah, the physics are exactly the same. So the setups do translate between the Ford and the Holden, at least in the sim. So at least it's a good job on iRacing's part to at least allow the cross homologation of the setup, so that you can utilise the same setup between both cars.
But you wouldn't, I suspect you wouldn't see many people changing from a Ford to a Holden or vice versa. That would be, people would call you a turncoat, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I would suspect so. But yeah, to be honest, I don't really drive these cars that often. But I have had previous experience in them, so yeah, it's certainly interesting that the physics are the same for both cars.
Indeed, you just have to choose. What's your favourite, Ford or Holden? Looking at Cameron Thornton in the 94 Holden, currently holding down 18th position. So in the top half of the field, and look at this, he's tearing time out of the Ford of the 77 Ford of Andrew Hills in front of him. But interestingly, there's a little bit more there on lap 9. Interesting stuff. So that gap at the top between Widdis and Myers has started to creep. Brady's Myers just starting to creep back again. A 206.93 for Myers last time around. A 208.0 for Widdis. It's I wonder if maybe lap traffic starting to be an issue for the leaders.
Yeah, just going to bring up the track map quickly, and there is no traffic ahead of the leaders at this current point in time, but I do see the 29th position car. That's Ed Hayden in between the first and second positions of Widdis and Myers. So see how Myers negotiates the lap traffic ahead.
Yeah, that's of course you'll see all the graphics that you see on screen right now, the track map, the timing tower, lap comparison. This is our SDK gaming software developed in-house here at Apex Racing TV. And you can have this very same software on your iRacing account. You can have it for streaming or to give you that little bit of a competitive edge as well. And of course, Scott, there's a lot of different features that technology has. When you're out on track, you also calculate fuel as well, I understand.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been utilising this software both as a broadcaster and as a driver as well. And yeah, as you say, yeah, fuel calculation, gap and interval comparison as well is very critical for both as a spotter and a driver. So yeah, very, very important tool is SDK Gaming.
Indeed it is, and you can check it out, sdkgaming.com, as we look at Tom Huggin moving up the inside in his Holden. Wow, goodness me, going past the number 7 Ford of Hall. Into the cutting they go. Oh, you got to fight the understeer there, and then all of a sudden the car's getting very, very slippery going up the hill, and you've got to throw gears at it, trying to smooth out that power delivery. Big oversteer. It's just so spectacular. Every single inch of this place is just so special.
Yeah, certainly coming up through McPhillamry Park now, taking that inside curve, running it over the outside curve there. You've got to be very, very careful not to upset the car again. Down through Skyline and hugging the right hand side of that wall into the dipper. There's a little bit wide there for Hagen. It gathers it up through the Esser section there into the elbow, and maintaining that half-second lead, or the half-second gap that he has over Hall. Trevor Hearn for the half-second back as well, so he's certainly looking menacing as well. We've got just over 7 minutes to go.
Yep, God, it's gone past quick, this 30-minute sprint race here at Mount Panorama. Tom Huggin right on the rev limiter, and the number 7 Ford of Daniel Hall has a look, but thinks better of it. You've got to, if you're going to make a move there into the chicane at the chase, you've got to plan it basically coming out of Forest Elbow, Scott.
Yeah, certainly you've got to be within about, say, 2 to 3 tenths of a second as Daniel Hall, but yeah, certainly wasn't close enough on that occasion, and that gap has opened up to 8 tenths of a second, but then closing on the exit there, Hall getting a good exit out of Hell Corner. As we turn our attention a little bit further up, James Mckee, Brody Watt still very, very close together. He's got a car off as well. That's the 39 of Nigel Laminin.
Now, is he a lap down? I think he might have been. Is Nigel? Yes, he was. Yeah, just obviously got a little bit unsighted there with the cars coming through. Ooh, as we see Andrew Hills here having a little look in the Ford up at Quarry Bend. Would I So it looks to me, I mean, 4.2 seconds. Brady Myers is able to just carve a little bit out of Jack Widdis, Scott, but with only maybe 3 laps to go, it just looks like it's going to be too little too late, and that little incident with a lap car is going to cost him dearly.
Yeah, certainly. Just looking at the sectors now, Myers has closed up about half a second over the course of this lap. But we'll wait and see what the time is when he crosses the line. 2:05.4 for Widdis, 2:04.8, so about 0.6 of a second gain for Myers. But yeah, certainly a little too little too late at the moment.
Hopefully we'll get to have a chance to have a chat with both Jack and Brady, hopefully, after the race, if they're in the mood for a chat here on Apex Racing TV. A huge thank you to our sponsor Trak Racer for their support of this event. If you're watching, this is your first sim racing broadcast, first of all, welcome. We hope you've enjoyed the action here at Mount Panorama. And if you think, I fancy a go at this, that looks fun, give the guys at Trak Racer a call or go on their website, and they can set you up with a full home simulator so you can get involved here on the iRacing.com platform. As we see, the 77 Ford going into pit lane. Oh, speaking of Fords, we've got Andrew Hills going into pit lane. He's obviously got a bit of damage of some description. So, about 2 laps to go here at Mount Panorama. And for Jack Widdis, he's just got to try and stroke it home. But here at Mount Panorama, Scott, there's you cannot drop your concentration for any moment, because if you do, you'll find yourself in the wall and your race could be over just like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just as I saw with one of the cars earlier, I think it may have been one of the lap down cars, I think, from memory. But yeah, they had all sorts of right-hand side damage coming up across the mountain, and yeah, that certainly can affect your steering, and that can certainly send you down the whole field. But yeah, certainly Jack Widdis coming up to start the penultimate lap. 27 minutes of race time elapsed. But yeah, certainly hasn't put a foot wrong yet. But yeah, we've just got a lap car ahead of him at the moment. Got a couple of seconds up as well. Just see a car off. That might have been Chad Lewis, I think.
And you can imagine, I guess, that given what happened to Brady Myers earlier on, you would suspect that every lapped car, he's probably just going to be that little bit extra careful, I suppose, because of course of what happened. He's maybe not going to have the same conviction as Jack Widdis is, as he makes quick work before getting to the cutting, and that's important to get past before it starts to get really narrow.
Yeah, certainly. Just going to suck back to Brady Myers to see how he negotiates this traffic. But yeah, as you say, it's pretty much a one-line affair, with pretty much from the cutting all the way up to the elbow. So yeah, Brady Myers is going to be very, very careful as it gets very, very close to the wall out of Sunwon Park through McPhillamy. But yeah, certainly not the most ideal place to catch the lap down traffic, but negotiates it successfully. Yeah, gaps.
Yeah, now I see there's a good respect there from the lap traffic, just to give Brady lots of room, and not an easy place to get out the way there. And yeah, good stuff indeed. So the white flag will be out for Jack Widdis next time around, and at the moment he's doing the job to keep Brady Myers at bay. And well, if you're a Holden fan, you'll be happy. It's looking like it's going to be a 1-2 for the soon-to-be sadly defunct Holden brand. What a big oversteer there from Thornton in the Holden. It just shows you there's a lot of cars here. I don't think there's many cars on track that have not got damage.
It's just the nature of the circuit, to be honest, with how close these walls are. But yeah, as I've mentioned before, you've got to be able to get as close as you can to be able to maximise the amount of time that you can gain. And certainly a lot of drivers, they're pushing the limits on this circuit, as Delsini getting all close to Cam Thornton. He's going to look to line up for an overtake.
Whoa, gee whiz. Tell you what, that was so close to a spin there for Jack Dulcini. That was a full opposite lock applied there. Now, coming down the Conrod straight here, Scott, how much does the draft make an effect coming down here?
It's about 3/4 tenths of a second, I would say, that you can gain if you're like sort of half a second to 3/4 of a second back, as Dulcini looking to line up for a move, trying to get around the outside. But yeah, to be able to get the overtake, you've got to be pretty much within half a second to be able to make the overtake and make it stick.
So the clock has ticked over 30 minutes and Jack Widdis out front in the 898 Holden Commodore, and looks like he is going to win here in the Track Racer Bathurst special event. Of course, tomorrow we have the great race, and I for one am incredibly excited to have the Bathurst 1000. It could be that we might not have had any supercars racing this year, but we will be going racing at Mount Panorama tomorrow. But here in the virtual world, it's going to be Jack Widdis then for Holden in his Commodore. He's your winner then. After 16 laps of hard racing, Jack Widdis wins here at Mount Panorama, with Brady Myers close behind in second place. Kobe Williams, the first of the Ford Mustangs home, and that is your podium. Well, it's Brady Myers. He'll be kicking himself for the rest of the night, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got that. We've got James Mckee. There's a bit of contact potentially between him and Brady Watts, so I'm not sure what the race stewards will think about that one. But yeah, Mckee across the line in 6th. But yeah, as you say, getting back to Myers, yeah, absolutely be kicking himself after that that little incident with the back marker there.
So you can see one of the the number 18 machine there with no rear wing. That's not going to be much fun at all heading around Mount Panorama. So we're just getting the last few runners over the line. Here's Jack Dulcini, who still can't find his way past the Holden of Thornton, and really pushing on the grass there. Manages to gather it up. And like you say, Scott, the nature of the circuit, getting a car around here without damage is near impossible. Yeah, these guys done a good job to get to the end. The last few cars on the lead lap. Here's Mike Casey in the number 10 Holden. Going to come in 21st position, and his car does look nice and tidy, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. Just probably one of the only few drivers that actually, as I say that, just looking at the left hand side of the car, there was a little bit of damage there, so yeah, another one that wasn't unscathed. But I think that was pretty much everyone across the line, with Andrew Hills the last across the line.
So there you are then, 30 minutes of racing by in a flash here at Mount Panorama. Let's have a look through the results of how they finished here at Bathurst. So, we've got a... So we will have the results for you in just a moment, dear viewer. And here we go. Thanks to our producer and commentator, the multitasker extraordinaire, Scott Newton. Here we go. Jack Widdis then the winner by 4 seconds from Brady Myers. Kobe Williams the last man on the podium and the first of the Ford Mustangs. Tyler Blackburn was 4th with Ryan Shooter in 5th. James Mckee 6th, followed by Brodie Watts, Daniel Hall, Tom. Oh, here we go. This is a bit of a tradition now. It seems they're going through the what is now known as the jump. As they whoa, brilliant stuff. Let's say, don't try this at home, folks, or do, but only on your simulator. I'd love to know the first person that discovered that was there. Brilliant. So, let's see, do we have anyone to come in and have a chat with us? Hopefully we will. No problem at all. So, as you see, confirming Jack Liddis as your winner then, followed by Brady Myers, Kobe Williams, Tyler Blackburn and Ryan Shooter. James Mckee finished in 6th, followed by Brodie Watts, Daniel Hall, Tom Huggan and Wayne Hewitt. Nick Sanfilippo was 11th, followed by Troy Timmins, Chris Thomas, Trevor Hearn, Ryan Mulder, Stephen Griffiths, Cameron Thornton at Jack Delcini. In 19th place was Brodie McCraner, followed by Hayden Moon, Mike Casey, Shane Clark and Andrew Hills, the last of the runners on the lead lap. And then one lap down were Ryan Hinchcliffe, Chad Lewis, Michael Crespo, Ed Hayden, Stead Miller, Travis Daly, Mick Rush and Dennis Hawkins. 2 laps down was Marco Pavic, Jason Fielding, Michael Rowe, Nigel Lammerman, Lockie Brown, Paul Bryant and Connor Jones. A busy day here at Mount Panorama. And Scott, your final thoughts on that race?
Yeah, absolutely cracking event that Track Racer have put on for today's event, in line with the Real Life Bathurst 1000 happening across the weekend. So yeah, it was brilliant of Track Racer to put on the event, and certainly looking forward to the festivities for tomorrow with the Real Life Bathurst 1000 kicking off. I think it's 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, looking forward to that event.
Well, as am I. Unfortunately, I am out and about commentating at my local track here in Scotland, but I will watch it on Superview as soon as I get home. The Great Race, always a highlight of any motor racing fan's diary. That's about all we have time for here on Apex Racing TV. Thanks so much for tuning in to this broadcast. Again, you can find out more about Track Racer sim rig setups at www.trackracer.com.au. Thanks so much for watching and enjoy the great race tomorrow.